Oh, well, hey, bitch. It's JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel, okay? Welcome back, welcome back. Listen, I have been gone for a minute, but I'm back with a little piece of the jump off. And I know that y'all probably done heard about it and done talked about it with other folks, but girl, you ain't talk about it with me. And that's what we finna get into, okay? Just a little bit of the Real Housewives, okay? Now, as we get into things, I have to go ahead and send a congratulations over there to my girl, Miss Candiace Dillard, okay? Of Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, see, y'all remember now, earlier this year, Miss Candiace had announced that she was stepping away from a Real Housewives of Potomac, and that was around the same time that Miss Robyn Dixon ended up getting fired. A lot of people tried to speculate that my girl had got fired, and that's just not what it was given. Okay? Timeline is timelining for me, okay? Miss Ma'am got pregnant. It's giving like maybe like late January, potentially early February, okay? Is when my girl had got pregnant and she had already let the people know, like, hey, I'm not going to be returning because you guys have not really been creating a safe space for me in the past few years, and I just don't feel comfortable, bringing being pregnant. All right, as I endure the BS of it all, so I'm gonna step away, okay? And people was like, "Nah, she was fired. She was fired. She was fired." Nah, girl, it's given she wasn't. Okay, even Andy had to come out and confirm that Candiace made a decision on her own to step away, and now we see because she was pregnant. I believe she gave birth to her little boy back in October. I feel like it could have been early October or something like that, sometime in October, but don't quote me. I did see where she responded to somebody on social media letting them know, like, hey, I had my baby or whatever. Well, first of all, what actually happened was, I believe the news came out, they were saying congratulations. I think somebody said something like, oh, I figured she had already had the baby or something like that, and then she gave them the date. It was like October something. I keep thinking October 3rd. Maybe it was the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, somewhere up in there, I think. And she pretty much responded to them, giving them the actual date that her child was born. So baby Jet Maxwell Lee is here. Okay, the baby is here. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Girl really did step away from the show because she was pregnant, and I do believe that there is room for Candiace to return back to Housewives. Do I see her doing that in the next year or so? I really don't. I could see her giving maybe 1 or 2 years into motherhood, and she might be open to returning back to the Real Housewives. I mean, she might be open next year, who knows? But I feel like she's gonna want to get adjusted to her new normal first, and then she'll be able to decide what she's gonna do at that particular time. But congratulations to Candiace and that husband of hers, okay, Mr. Chris Bassett. We are gonna have to go ahead and check out their photos that they had over there on People, so let us do that. All right, so we have Miss Candiace Dillard here with that husband of hers, Mr. Chris Bassett. Let me tell y'all, it's like three different names going on here. I don't know why, but I would love to know, what made them come up with the name Jet Maxwell Lee. Is Maxwell Lee like a part of his middle name, and we haven't gotten the last name? Is his name Jet Maxwell Lee Bassett? Is what I'm wondering. I'm sure so. I'm like, with that name Jet Maxwell, it kind of makes me question if he was like named after someone in their family, like an elder or somebody. But their baby boy is here. Look at Miss Candyland being a mama and everything. Go ahead. I knew some told me. I remember talking about that on the panel. One of those episodes, I said, y'all think Candiace already had that baby. She just ain't saying nothing. And I don't blame her, because I had mine. And I popped back up on this camera like ain't that had happened. So I understand. Okay. So congratulations to her. And as we speak on Miss Candiace, of course, you guys may or may not know, Miss Monique Samuels did do an interview, and I want to make sure that I reference the person right, Mr. J Hill Network. She did an interview with someone, and she talked about primarily her marriage. Okay, I did get a chance to listen to her interview on my way back from Mexico, and I was like, oh, Monique got a pod. She just had an interview. Like, let me check this out and see what she's talking about, right? So I listened to the entire interview. I thought the interview was pretty good. She did talk about like marriage and things, and her divorce and stuff, and things that she, did not know how she saw herself, the way she set herself up for failure in some case, when it came to her marriage and stuff. She said some things that I definitely appreciated was her pretty much being like a people pleaser in a sense. She talked about that. And it was more so, I feel like she was kind of angling it more so trying to please her husband, but I feel like her being a people pleaser really showed up for me when I watched her on Potomac. And that was one of the reasons that I did not really like Monique, because I did not feel like she was being fully authentic, no matter how much people praised her, because she appeared to be one-upping Gizelle, because people started to form this dislike for Gizelle. And they loved the fact that Monique was like, oh, I got 4 homes or however many homes, and oh, I'm married and everything. She really was playing it up for the cameras to really impress the ladies, right? And I don't think that's something that only she does. I think a lot of the ladies do that when they come onto the show. But it was something about Monique that was not always given fully authentic for me on the show, and I just wasn't really. I'm like, I like her, but I don't. It's something about I don't know what it is, and I'm so glad that she knows what it was. Okay, and it was her not fully, to me, in my opinion. I think she may have shown up in ways that were authentic, but then also being a people pleaser can lead you down the road of not being fully authentic, because I feel like she was trying to portray an image of her marriage that really was not there. And I also kind of understand it too at the same time, dealing with the Real Housewives of Potomac, the different ladies, because they always try to come for people marriages and stuff. So you want to definitely put up a united front, like we good, we good, we good. And honestly, during that time, I guess it was easy because they really couldn't find no dirt up on that man. And I'm sure they looked for some. Hello, because they love to attack the husbands. But with Monique, when they found a little piece of dirt, they tried to bring that whole storyline into it, which led to, a breakdown of friendship between her and Candiace, even though it was kind of already happening prior to that. It made it get even worse. Okay. So she acknowledged that. And as we speak on Candiace, she did touch on Candiace just a little bit, but she didn't say her name. She talks about a time in her life where she just was unhappy. She had been unhappy for a long time, and it was primarily with Chris, right? And with that, and I know we hate to talk about the fight, but we probably gonna go into it just a little piece, okay? But with her being so unhappy with her marriage and stuff, and really being unhappy with herself and things like that, it led her down a road to where she ended up getting in that altercation with Candiace, and she admits that she gave energy to a person that never deserved it because of what she was dealing with on the inside. And let me tell y'all, that for me, for the people that may have been around way back then when Monique and Candiace got into this fight, that was always the main reason why I said Monique was wrong. When it came down to the whole fight with Candiace, a lot of people, and I've said that so many times, like a lot of people only looked at, oh, well, Candiace put her hand in her face and whatever she should have got, whatever it was, girl, feel how you feel. My thing was, you guys are only looking at this. I'm looking at everything, and I just feel like all the energy she gave Candiace she was giving it to the wrong person. And it makes me question if she felt weak in her marriage, so she tried to pick on the person that she felt was the weakest out of all of the ladies or something, right? In addition, that energy should have went to Gizelle, but more than anything, it seemed like some of that energy really should have went on Chris' ass because she wasn't really happy in that marriage. But I want y'all to hear, we're going to listen to a tidbit of what she says in this interview when she does acknowledge, that she gave this energy to a person that should not have gotten it. And then she, at a later point in this interview, towards the closing, was when she talked about Carlos King and her leaving Real Housewives of Potomac and coming over to Love and Marriage DC, and how all of that transpired, okay? It just wasn't good. And let me tell you, the people that don't like Carlos have definitely been wearing him low, for sure. Okay? They've definitely been going in on him and feeling justified in their thoughts, surrounding, his dynamic with his cast members. And with Monique coming out saying her opinion, they feel even more validated. So, child, it's a piece of mess around here in these streets. But I do want us to check this out. So let us do that real quick.
Well, the thing about when you get married and you don't really know yourself and love yourself, you start to bond with a person that you expect them to love the parts of you that you don't want to face or love. And that creates this trauma bond. They're doing the same thing. It's like a mirror. And then when you finally do get to a point where you wake up and you see what has happened for over a decade and what you've allowed to go on, and you kind of snap out of it like, wait, what is happening here? You feel depleted, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, because everything has been outward. Everything has been external. You're people-pleasing. In my case, I was. People-pleasing, making sure everybody else was good, doing everything that would distract me from dealing with myself. And I finally got to a point where I had an incident where I snapped.
Okay, it was the people pleasing for me because she ain't never lied, because it wasn't just about your marriage where you were people pleasing. That spilled over. Because not only were you trying to please him, you, like I said, was trying to keep up an image for them damn ladies, just a little piece. People that likely didn't even deserve that. Hello? But let's keep going.
For a decade, and what you've allowed to go on, and you kind of snap out of it like, wait, what is happening here? You feel depleted, you're burnt out, you're exhausted because everything has been outward, everything has been external. You're people pleasing. In my case, I was people pleasing, making sure everybody else was good, doing everything that would distract me from dealing with myself. And I finally got to a point where I had an incident where I snapped and it woke me up.
When you say you snapped, like what? Like, if you don't mind me asking.
Literally, I got into a fight on national TV.
Okay, I might have missed that.
Yeah.
This was with a woman, a girl?
Yeah. It was my last season of Real Housewives of Potomac. Yeah, this was in 2019. That's the gift and the curse.
But this is before DC, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just.
Yeah.
Hey, I might have seen it on Instagram, but I'm just catching up. This is real time. Okay. So you got in the fight and you woke up.
Yeah, it woke me up. It made me realize, like, I thought I was a person that was in control of a lot of things. And then I realized I wasn't in control of anything. I was out of control. And it allowed me to kind of start looking at myself and kind of going deeper, wanting to learn about myself. I didn't realize I had certain childhood traumas. I didn't realize that I knew I was a person that didn't allow myself to feel a lot of things. I would put things on the shelf and say, I'll deal with it later. And that was unhealthy. So it caught up to me. So you have one of those incidents where you lash out on a person that really didn't do much to deserve the lashing, but it was like a lifetime of just being fed up or being poked or being frustrated. And it just all comes out at the most perfect, unperfect time.
Boom. Okay. So that to me was Monique acknowledging that, and I mean, and maybe she did say it before, but I can't really recall. But for me, that was her acknowledging that she should have never gave all that energy to Candiace the way that she did, because she had so much other things built up in her for a long period of time. And you would think that with everything she had going on, and when she finally just lashed out, that energy would have been given to somebody else. Like, example, she was dealing with these same things, right? Years prior. If you listen to her interview, it's been an ongoing thing. Like, she talked about her and Chris getting into an argument on their honeymoon. It's always been some stuff, when she said if she really took the time out and had, more, I guess, like standards and boundaries, they probably would have never married each other. But with her having all of this energy and everything, and dealing with so much unhappiness and things that was dealing, a lot of things that she had going on within her, I'm wondering why you ain't get that energy to Robyn. When Robyn, I think she had I think Monique had the umbrella up to Robyn's neck when they were going back and forth. Okay. And Robyn was all up in here with hers, all up in there with it. Why you didn't get that energy to Robyn? It was, I had some things, you got stuff to lose now. But when it came to Candiace, it was easier for her to give that energy, I would think, to Candiace, because Candiace is smaller. I think she may have likely seen her as the weaker person. And yeah, it all really came to a head at that point. But all in all, I mean, I can appreciate the growth journey for sure. When it comes to Monique, having time to like really sit back, look, reflect, all of that. It was just bad. It was just bad, girl. The people was down here at a war on the YouTube, honey, about who was right, who was wrong. And I always felt like it was Monique. Monique was always wrong for me because of the entire situation, not just that piece of getting into a fight. It was just everything for me. Like, girl, you giving all this to the wrong person, girl. And I'm glad that she can acknowledge that now. Yeah. So, I mean, she talked about a lot. She talked about a lot in that interview. She also went on to talk about the job that she had, at the radio station and stuff, and how being at that radio station, she was trying to balance doing her Mila Eve essential oil line that she has. And, also being having her kids, I believe they go to school at home. They're like at home, they're homeschooled or whatnot. So she has to do that. So it's a lot that she had to readjust with her life than before, So it was a lot of, tug and pull on her. So she had to end up making a decision to leave the job. I don't know. I do wonder if it could be more to that story as to why she really left, in my honest opinion. And I only say that because I feel like there have been times when we have an idea of what's going on with Monique, and then she sells us a different type of narrative. Like when her and Chris was not happy and people got the news about them likely separating and living in different homes and all of this other stuff. And they tried to come and clean it up and make it seem like it was something completely different. You know what I'm saying? Only for like a year or less later, we see that they ended up getting this divorce. So it was like, okay, so y'all did all of that against people, and the whole time people wasn't really lying on y'all. What's going on? Right. And then the other situation would be when she was on the radio show and she didn't really, I guess, want the drama at the time, when people were like, hey, Monique, are you going to be returning to Love and Marriage DC and stuff? And I feel like she was being very careful at the time with how she was, saying stuff when it came to Carlos or whatnot. But now, they got an issue now. Okay. I believe this issue been existing for a long period of time. And now she's like, that man played me. He did me dirty, more worse than the damn actual white networks, while he over there trying to use the black card. Okay. And we're going to get into that. But I'm saying all that because I'm like, okay, she made it sound real simple as to why she left the radio station. So I'm like, is that really the reason why you left? Are you putting, like, what's really good? Okay. But anywho, she don't have to really say all of that, because if she may want to go back, don't ruin the relationships. So if you're protecting anyone, cool. Let's keep going. All right. Because I want us to check out what she had to say here.
I had to kill my ego. I had to care even less about what people thought about me, because only I knew what was really going on, behind the scenes. And it was a huge test of just like, all right, let's see how much you've grown.
Now, see, what she's talking about here is her relationship and how she was being seen on Love and Marriage DC, because she felt like the producers would show her lashing out at her husband, but they never would really show what he would do or what would cause her to react that way. They primarily only showed her reaction, but not the lead up to it. So he was frustrating her. Okay. Child, it was so apparent. She was tired of his ass, though. You could kind of tell. Okay.
How did that show come about?
So when I left Housewives, there was one of the producers that used to be a part of Housewives franchise who started his own. He approached me with support and came at me with some like, we black, and these white shows, they don't show black people in the light that they should be shown in, and it can be natural drama, it doesn't have to be this scripted drama, and it created a relationship of like, all right, let's see what we can do together. Let's work together. So I believed him when he used the black card, and he did me worse than the white folks. I was like, he could have waited to the second season to trash me.
So you think Love and Marriage DC did you worse than Real Housewives of Potomac?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was worse. It was like, there was no context. There was no reason to all of the fussing and fighting. It was like, it's love and marriage. So show the full outlook of what a love and marriage, like show what all of it looks like, right? I have always been very open on camera. Like I like to be as transparent as possible. But if my spouse is not also that way, then if you're not saying anything, they're only going to be showing what I'm saying. So it was very unbalanced. And then it was just like, we got her. Dog her ass out. Like, it was like my name was used to gain the audience. And I mean, I felt like I got trashed on that show. They didn't show any of my real moments. They didn't show the moments where I gave more context to what was happening. It was just like me, like, yeah. But I was the one reacting. It was me reacting, but show why I was reacting like that, And it was very unorganized. On camera, off camera, it was a mess. And I left after the first season.
Now listen, I feel like when Monique got a lot of flack, I was always wondering whether once she does this show, if people going to see, a lot of us had already saw when she was over there on Potomac. And although they did ended up seeing this, and I wasn't really surprised, and at the same time, like, I mean, she been like this, okay? So everybody was dogging her. But at the same time, I kind of understood her a bit, because Chris did seem like he waited on her hand and foot for every damn thing. Like, I don't know, but I kind of understood her frustration with his ass just a bit, because I do feel like Chris operated a lot with, I make the money, I provide you this and that, so what I give should just be enough. And when you listen to her interview, she does talk about how she did create that monster by waiting on him hand and foot, because she felt like she needed to show up more in different ways and not make it appear as though she was just there for his money or whatever the case was. Like, she felt like she needed to come in and offer a whole lot to the relationship too. So yeah, she babied him. She babied him. She set a high ass standard that at some point she got tired of maintaining, especially after having children. And you have to have this big ass man as a baby and then got to be a mama to these kids. Like, I kind of started to understand, Monique and her frustration with him though. For me, when I watched Love and Marriage DC or whatnot. So, but those are my thoughts about it or whatever. I think it was a good interview overall. So if y'all check it out, cool. Okay, go ahead, slide over there and get into some things. All right, now real quick, I want to talk about Miss Kenya more because y'all know my girl had a talk with Tamron Hall where Tamron was making sure to hold Kenya accountable for her actions when it came to newbie, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Brit Edie. Okay, it was some explicit images that were put out about Brittany and her past. Okay, now Kenya did not, according to her, distribute these. She did find them online. They weren't sent to her privately or anything. She found them online, and anybody can go and do research and find out the fact that, according to Kenya, Miss Brittany was an escort, and she was over there Snapchatting Yo Gotti that cootie tois. All right. So she became under fire for that. She ended up being under fire so much so that she ended up getting suspended from the show for the time being. Now, Kenya did say she said that she's still an employee of Bravo. She says that she's still getting paid. The question is, are you working with the production company? See, the network is one thing, but what about the production company? I told y'all in my video the other day that I felt like the production team was on her ass because she did that interview with Carlos at the top of the season where she kind of like said some negative stuff about production. And she wasn't on the list originally to come back. But as they're building the cast, they decided to have her back, right? I think that they probably still felt the way about that moment and maybe some lingering things that may have happened in the previous season. So the moment that she did something, they were on her ass. But here's the thing, though. I feel like, yeah, they could have blurred that portion out or they could have not even shown that part. I don't know if they were upset because the word got out and everything was leaked out. I don't know if Brittany may have, threatened a legal action or something for them to handle that. Maybe it could have been a lot of the backlash they were getting. I believe Andy was having a case with was it Glanville? What's her name? What's her first name? Brandy Glanville or something. I think he was having a issue, a legal matter that may have involved some sexual stuff or whatever the case is. So maybe it was a sensitive time for them with everything that's been happening in the market. And they was like, yo, we got to show a no tolerance on this. We're going to have to pull the plug and sit her down until we're ready to charge her back up. I don't know, but she went over there and she apologized, but I'm hoping we see her on the coming season. Not sure, but here's the thing I really want to talk about. Okay. She took accountability. She didn't take accountability for the revenge porn. She took accountability for going too far, taking things too far by exposing your information that is already out there, according to Kenya. Now, also, Neighborhood Talk, they put up a post on their page of the video that Tamron Hall put on her page, okay? And of course, Kenya didn't like it because she felt like they put it out there, but they were still trying to make it appear as though she was apologizing for RP. And she was trying to be very clear that, baby, whatever you think this is, it's not. Okay, so Kenya says, conveniently leaving out where I said the RP allegations were a lie. Okay, that came from someone on YouTube that first brought this story to us. And that person was saying that Kenya was out here and then got in trouble for RP. Kenya's like, no, it wasn't RP because there are certain guidelines and certain terminology that falls under RP, and I didn't do those things. Okay? I only re-put out what was already out there. All right? So Neighborhood Talk decided to come off their throne and get in the trenches with Miss Kenya and say, Kenya, this is the same clip that Tamron Hall posted on her Twitter account. So did they conveniently leave it out too? Because we only posted what they posted. And I'm like, well, dang, y'all ain't have to come so harshly at Miss Kenya. All she said was y'all conveniently left it out. Now, that was a message for y'all to ask that lady, did they conveniently leave it out too? Child, but listen, you did come onto them people's page, okay? You did come onto their page, just a little piece. And of course, Tamron Hall left it out because, they need us to tune into the show and see what was going on. And I definitely did just that. All right. Now there was something else that was put up over there, and it looks like Kyle, who is the owner of the Neighborhood Talk, he decided to expose some of the messaging, because I guess Kenya done got down into their messages, child. And Kenya says, "You always post BS, making me look bad. You also out here picture in every slide." Okay, I don't know what she meant by that. You also I guess he meant to say you put her picture in every slide. What you mean by that though? You always post BS, making me look bad. You also put her picture in every slide. So I guess she means Brittany Edie's picture is in every slide. I don't know what the issue is with that. She says your caption could have said, "I clarified I was never accused of RP. I apologize for posting a photo I found online." You didn't post the photo, but you slick promoted it. You did gotta put it out there. But anywho. So Kyle says, "Kenya, for this to be about accountability, you aren't taking any right now. The swipes you saw are all of our previous coverage regarding this incident, okay? Like we do for every news post we cover extensively, all right?" Goes on to say the second swipe was literally you saying it was a lie. It was something she accused you of. You denied it. It's all been posted. You're mad at the wrong people. Okay, you put yourself in whatever situation you're in, so the energy you're giving needs to be redirected. God bless. Baby, the attitude that was given up off this post, you would have thought that Kenya sat up there and posted some pictures of their ass, the way they over there snapping on this woman. Then decided to screenshot it to show to everybody. So now y'all got an issue with Kenya too, Neighborhood Talk? I guess she said y'all always post BS of her. So I mean, is the issue now existing, or was it existing prior to, which is why y'all always post negative stuff? I don't know. But Kyle says, "I'm sorry. I've been laughing at this all day. I really wonder if they feel a little dumb in the end after being properly informed." Okay. So I feel like when he says, I wonder if they feel a little dumb in the end, I would think that he's talking about a lot of the fans that was denying the fact that Kenya would do such a thing and would not want to believe it, right? I don't think they feel dumb. I think they feel shocked as hell, okay? Like, what, you really did that? I was out here believing that you was better than that. You know what I'm saying? I think they probably felt more shocked than anything. And they don't have no choice but to believe it now because it came straight from the horse's mouth. But again, Kenya was being very delicate with the information that she used, okay, with what she said. So y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below on everything. That's all that I got for you guys at this time. Of course, I'm Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jami, that's me. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.
My city and cul-de-sac, coming, I swinging like soldier rag, leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.